from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hey guys, welcome to the LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 3 powered by Crucial. Our apparel partner is 6x6, accessories partner is Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner is Cosmic Lab. If you want some energy to go into these games, go ahead and scan that QR code so that you can get your own Red Bull cans. And today we have some really exciting games for you. We have one of the most favorite teams in the entire country, S8UL Esports, playing today, followed by ROG Academy. They will be the ones facing each other today. And later on at night, we have Velocity Gaming versus Team Only Friends.
Oh yeah, this should be a fun one. A lot at stake here for both Soul and RG. And guess what? The follow-up match is also really cool. You're gonna get to see Velocity play up against Only Friends, but yeah, it's gonna be later on in the day. For now, we have Soul versus ROG, and this couldn't be a better match, Crips, because according to the group standings, these teams are right next to each other. They're in the middle of the pack. I believe they are in the 5th to 6th position, respectively. Soul followed by ROG, and this is going to be the 6th match for both of them. So whoever wins moves up a notch, whoever loses gets knocked down a notch. And this
Oh,
is going to make things very, very interesting because a lot at stake here for ROG. Because if ROG lose this, I believe they might end up in the 7th to 8th spot, which could potentially mean
ooh.
relegation. But yeah, if they win this one, they could potentially save themselves from relegation and make sure they get to come back in the next season of the Gauntlet.
Oh, damn. Okay, so the stakes are pretty high over here. Okay, gentlemen, without further ado, let's just jump into the group standings, see which team has how many points. You can clearly see that it is a pretty important game for both of these teams, but maybe with the numbers, we should be able to paint a better storyline. S8UL Esports
Right.
just on the border of getting relegated. And both these teams have the exact same stats, same number of wins and losses, same number of points. They're basically tied, and the team that is able to win this game will definitely send the other team down into the red zone where they are in danger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing to note here is that God Particles has played the 6th game, and as a result, they are sitting in that 5th spot. Soul and ROG haven't in the meantime, so definitely we're going to be seeing one of these two teams overtake the side of God Particles and potentially occupy that 5th slot. It might even be 4th to 5th here, considering that Valor only has 3 wins and 3 losses. The winner is going to be tied up with Valor at 7 points, and whoever loses, they do manage to get a point. I think they'll make sure that they don't get relegated at the very least. So, yeah, a lot on the line over here for both of these teams. Let's see who ends up coming out on top today. So, they look like the good old team that they used to play with Binks and all, but it seems that they've had a few roster changes, and it might take some time for them to adjust. This being their first season together as a team. So let's have a look at both of their rosters, starting with, of course, I believe it's going to be Team Soul. So let's have a look at their roster, see who it's made up of, and yeah, let's put some faces to the names that we've been seeing this entire time. Of course, it's going to be Binks, Badman, God Vexy, and there's going to be Strix as well as Ezzy in the mix here. Pretty solid roster, actually, when you consider this. This lineup actually shows a fair bit of potential, don't you think so?
Oh, yes, of course, it does show quite a lot of potential, especially with the addition of Badman into the roster. The team gets a lot more security. I kind of feel like Batman is the kind of person who will be comfortable with not only leading the charge but also staying at the back and providing cover for his teammates. So he's very versatile that way. And keep in mind that he has plenty of experience, so he's damn good as an IGL as well. S8UL Esports always had the kind of team who have really talented players with a lot of firepower, but now with the addition of Batman, they not only have the brawn, they also have the brains.
Yeah.
So they're all rounders, I guess, at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, Batman is an amazing Sentinel player. We've seen him play that Cypher. We've also seen him play a lot of those controllers from time to time. And I think he's a player that you should really be looking out for because he's very, very potent on the lurk. He's very good at anchoring down the side as well. So you can leave him somewhere And be rest assured that he will at least not die, or even if he does, he'll take one down with him and do a lot of damage to the other guy. And basically that's kind of what you need in a person who plays that sentinel role. Someone who's really good at holding angles, someone who understands when to peek, when is the right time for them to spring, and when they can retreat back and give up the side and play for a retake. But let's have a look at the player spotlight for the side of Seoul and see who it is that's going to be taking that spot up. It's going to be none other than Ezzy, the controller player for the side of Seoul on the Astra with an ACS of 175. Pretty good ACS for a controller player, don't you think so?
Well, the ACS is pretty impressive. KD, maybe not so much. But hey, since he is an Astra player, you wouldn't really expect him to do that in the first place. He's not supposed to be the duelist. He's just supposed to clear out some of the spaces for his team so that they can move in safely. Although I must say, even though his KD does not reflect the best value that he puts forth, one must keep in mind that most of his skills come through in the later stages of the round. He's the one who's alive for the most time, which also means that he is the player responsible for making a lot of those clutches happen. So, sure, he might not have a lot of kills, but everything he has over here, each and every number is a high impact number. That's the best part about Ezzy. He's very good in clutch situations.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just how it is, right? The longer you stay alive, the more important it is for you to find those frags and just sort of make up for those differentials. It might be a 4v5. It's your job to make it a 4v4, maybe even a 4v3, and help your team out win that particular round. But the good thing is, Ezzy in those situations is very, very impactful. And the best part about it is that I believe Ezzy is one of those players who will sit back for the early game. It might look like he is getting owned early on, but as the game goes on, he gets a read on his opponents, and he ends up being a lot better by the end of it. You see him pulling out those clutches like you've mentioned.
Yeah, so that's Ezzy, and that's the players from Team Soul. Now we need to take a look at who is going to be playing against them. RG Academy have been on the rise since a little bit, but we need to take a look at their faces and see who's in the team. So these bunch of players, Sensei, Equinox, Bullseye, and his teammates who really have just entered Gauntlet in a very unorthodox fashion. They were, as a team, they're pretty new, but then when you just put them all together, they turn into something much more deadly. And that's the best part about these one, because Ludra and Equinox are the kind of players who don't often show up in like the numbers. They don't often have the best stats, but they always create impact for their team. And keep in mind that RG Academy is barely a couple of months old. So for them to be doing this well in the Gauntlet, which is one of the which is one of the toughest tournaments in the country, I think it's a pretty damn good achievement from them.
Absolutely. I feel like ROG Academy is definitely what we would all consider a dark horse. It's a team that has shown that they have the capabilities to go up against some of the best here and take rounds off and make things very, very interesting. But it just seems that they're lacking the finesse that some of the better teams have here in the Gauntlet, and they still seem to be a little bit rough around the edges. And that's sort of the issue with ROG Academy. I mean, if they can fix that up, if they can make sure that, they just fine tune whatever they're doing, they just make sure it's very well polished and very well executed, these guys are going to be a top tier team. I mean, all of the players in there are really, really good, and Sensei especially. I've seen this man frag out so many times and clutch so many times that it's starting to get a little bit old. I know every single time ROG Academy are going to have that one round where Sensei is going to go berserk, and yeah, pretty much win it out for his team. So yeah, ROG Academy definitely someone I'm going to be keeping my eye on. But hey, if they don't win this match, then they might be relegated.
So Sensei does have a pretty important role to fulfill in this team, but let's take a look at which player is going to be in the spotlight. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the ROG Academy Spotlight powered by Crucial, and the player in Spotlight today is Equinox. Now, like we said, the numbers may not necessarily do justice to what this man does for the team. Equinox, even though he is the Killjoy main of the team, you can basically make sure that he can play any and every Sentinel. Hell, sometimes you might even get a completely different character for him and he will still be completely fine with it. But the only reason that's possible is because he's not just the great player as a killjoy, he's just a great overall anchor. He's the last person to rotate in the team. He's the person who's gonna hold on to an area for the longest time before he moves on to someplace else. So every time someone calls for backup or every time someone calls for a rotation, Equinox will not be the guy who moves. We will see him hold an area for quite some time and then move later on only when his team has confirmed information. So you can pretty much expect Equinox to be the anchor most of the times, at least on the defensive side. On attack, however, he needs to be a little more versatile and do as his team adjusts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the harder things to do for almost every Sentinel player is just finding ways to be effective on the attacking side as well, right? Usually, you'll see a Sentinel being the lurker, being the guy who's watching the flank, watching the backstab, making sure that there's no silly surprises coming in from the enemy team. But yeah, sometimes you can be caught off guard as the flank. You know, it's a very hard judgment call to make at what point you're supposed to let go, at what point you're supposed to continue holding that area down. And I think as a reason, Equinox, he's going to have a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and he's going to have to keep that in mind when they jump into the game against Seoul.
All right, so they definitely need to keep that thing in mind. Although I must say that they also need to be wary about the map pool. I mean, both these teams do prefer kind of brawly maps, buggish maps, although ROG Academy have shown a little bit of promise trying to play out the newer maps like Fracture and Breeze. They might be more comfortable with it, but Soul definitely not. But why are we theory crafting about it? Let's just jump into the map video and see exactly what maps these teams have picked up for us today. And no surprise over here whatsoever. I definitely expected Seoul Esports to pick up Byte. That has been the strongest map. In fact, I'm surprised ROG Academy did not ban it out right at the beginning. So I see Seoul Esports picking up Bind, and I think they should be able to win it too. Although ROG Academy have gone for Haven, a map which is not necessarily bad for Seoul Esports, although it's not their strongest map. It definitely isn't their weakest by any stretch of the imagination. So I would say that Haven is neutral ground.
Yeah.
Split again, I believe, might be a map where Seoul Esports can do well. So I kind of see this game going in the favor of Seoul Esports a little bit. It's tilting a little in their favor, but we never know what ROG Academy can bring to the table, and we never know how they may surprise us. So I still have my eyes peeled out for that.
So I've seen a few ROG matches, and I can say this to you with certainty that their Haven, it's not bad, but it lacks a little bit of finesse, like I've talked about earlier. They're a little bit early on their rotations at times. Some of the times they do tend to be a bit more aggressive than they need to, but overall their Haven is not bad. It's definitely something that can challenge Seoul Esports. Is it good against the renewed Seoul Esports? I mean, with the addition of Ezzy as well as Badman, and you've got all these great minds of the team, is it going to be possible for them to break through that and sort of find their footing on the map of Haven? Is the question I have. Now, Byte, of course, it's Soul's playground. We've seen Binks on this map time and time again. He's a shining star on it. No one can really stop him. But when it comes to Haven, I'm not too sure if Soul have a couple of ideas in mind as to how to play this map. I do know Badman will pick up that Cypher most likely on that map. It's been his go-to agent on that map for a long time, but I wouldn't be so sure that it is Seoul favored because I think ROG might have a better time here. They've had a lot of games now. If you look, they've both played, I think, 5 games each, like we've talked about. It's going to be the 6th game. And considering that, I think ROG have had a lot of time to improve. And maybe we're going to see a 3-map series because I don't think ROG is a team that's going to lose 2-0.
2-0? Oh, no, I don't think they will lose 2-0. I think this might just be a 3-mapper. This definitely has the chance to go all the way towards the end. Maybe even an overtime in Bind. Possibly if Seoul Esports are not able to maintain the momentum right at the start of the game. Although Bind is their home turf, I must agree, it is a map which cannot really be held down as one team's shining crown jewel. Nope, it's a pretty simple map, and anyone can overpower you if you're smart enough about it. So I don't know what kind of domination they're looking to assert over here in Bind. Although still, with both Bind and Split being brawly, I think Seoul Esports should be able to make this one work. Well, those are the 3 maps, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be starting the game pretty soon as well. We will be starting off with Bind, and Seoul Esports are not starting on their favored side, so I don't know, that could be a problem. I have noticed that S8UL are the kind of team that are very momentum based. If things are going for them, they just keep on winning rounds like it's nobody's business. But if they are like trading rounds back and forth, if they're not able to string a couple of rounds together, their economies, the issue of the economies over there just start to roll up more and more, and then they find themselves at the brutal ends of ecos very often. And
Yeah.
that's kind of surprising, right? There are so many instances where I've seen this team force buy or maybe go for a cheaper buy with specters and sheriffs and whatnot. But I mean, it all happens because they either fail to string down together and build economy, or they just have this bad habit of force buying, which just somewhat just seeps into their gameplay as a whole, and it continues to stay there. That's one of the bigger problems.
Absolutely. I think Seoul is a kind of team who, at times, if they feel like they're better than you, they will go for those force spikes. They will, try to mess up their economy a little bit, even though, it may not help them as much in the long run. They are the kind of team who will be like, okay, we just, we might have died this round, we might not have gotten the spike done, and I noticed the first round anyway, but we're gonna buy specters. Let's see what you guys can do. Let's see how you guys can stop us. And yeah, that's just what comes to mind when I think of Seoul, or at least the old esports team with Binks and co. I mean, that's what they love doing, right? So yeah, it's something that you're gonna have to keep in the back of your mind, because ROG, I believe, as they've been spending more and more time together, they've become more and more disciplined. The same could be said about Seoul too, in fact, because with the addition of Batman and everyone else, these guys could have that much needed discipline that they've been lacking for a while. But it could also be the case that maybe Binks got to them. Maybe he's making them a bit more buck wild. They're all gonna go out there, take individual gunfights, and before you know, 5 people have peaked at 5 different places, and they've all won their fights, and the round is over. So that could also be the case. I mean, I remember vividly watching one match where I believe it was Seoul or it was the esports team, one of those, where I think everyone took a peek, individually, and they just had a team ace, and the round was over in like 30 seconds flat. So that's
It's
pretty
just
fun to
speed
watch.
running.
Speed running, pretty much, exactly. So just trying to paint a picture here of how Seoul could potentially play the game. But yeah, I feel like ROG Academy, they're not going to be so easy to beat. They've had a few games now, and I think they know what it's like to go up against some of these better teams here. So maybe, just maybe, there's something in the bag that Seoul are not expecting. Maybe a different agent composition could be in the mix.
I don't know. Bind either has two variations. I mean, you either have a double controller or you have a double initiator, or you can be buck wild and pick up a double duelist in Bind, which some madmen do.
Yeah.
Although with this whole thing, there's not too much scope of something wild coming out. But let's see. Maybe we will see something wild today, indeed. Let's jump into the agent selection, ladies and gentlemen, and see which characters these players will be picking up for themselves.
Okay, so I'm gonna be very surprised if ROG end up picking up something like the KO. That'd be insane to me. I see Binks hovering over the chamber, but I don't think that's allowed. So
Yeah,
let's
that's not
switch
allowed
that over.
yet.
So yeah, I imagine ROG are probably gonna go for a double initiator comp. They do seem to be hovering over double duelist though. There seems to be Raze and Jet being eyed up here
Yeah.
by ROG. So yeah, this could be fairly interesting. Usually you see double initiator, something like the Sky plus the Sova, but they're gonna go for the Jet and the Raze instead.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
And the Viper Astra.
oh no, the Viper Astra is on the oh right.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is on Team S8UL. So they might have a double controller and a double duelist. God, Vexy most likely will be the person left behind the scenes. So our mains usually are the ones who gathered information from far away. And Vexy is one of those clutch players, so I wouldn't expect anything else from him. Although I'm kind of more leaning towards Team ROG Academy this time. They also
Choose
have
your
a double
agent.
duelist, but they have one sentinel, one controller, and one initiator. Whereas on the side of Team S8UL, they don't have a single sentinel. I
Oh yeah.
guess Ezzy will have to play his Astra as if he is a sentinel player. He's going to have to be very defensive today instead of going ahead and being as free as he usually is. So he might have to make up for the lack of a sentinel. He might have to like tone his moves down
Oh
according
yeah.
to that.
Absolutely, but the one good thing about having a double controller and a double duelist setup is that you can make so many moves around the map, right? You can
Yeah.
separate the map, you can just block off sites, you can set up fakes really well really well too. You can take it late into the round and not be worried about your executes either because you've got a Viper and an Astra. And I think that's what's really good about the lineup. But let's jump straight into the game and see what's going on, Crips. I think we've theory crafted enough at this point, so let's
Mhm.
see what the players are actually gonna do as we head into Seoul, going up against the side of ROG Academy. Who do you place your bets on? I mean, who do you think is going to take the pistol? Real quick.
Pistol. I think ROG Academy will win the pistol. And I say
Okay.
it only because I think that this is a little defender sided. Other than that, I think the overall map will still be taken up by Team Soul, and then ROG Academy win Haven, and then Split will be, a rather wild map. I can't guess who's going to win the entire series.
Mm-hmm. Love the play coming out from ROG. Right away, a can thrown out towards Hookah. They don't spot anyone. I believe the rotations are going to start coming in. The Sova's already making his way towards the A side. They know this is coming, but they're going to dash straight in. Jet going in. Bullseye is going to be able to take out Binks. All of a sudden, S8UL, they've lost one of their players here. And now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They'll get the spike down somehow, but Bullseye is also taking pot shots. He misses. Strix is going to be able to clean him up. Batman is going to get taken down by Wonder. And Equinox is also going to find Strix in the meantime. Somehow a 2v2 at the end of it all. Only the Soa and the Astra alive on the side of Seoul.
And none of them are close enough to back each other up. The Astra clears out bathroom, so that's at least one position they no longer have to worry about. But the moment I say that, God Vexy reveals his true colors, and he's toying around with Equinox. He's getting pinged. Of course, God Vexy can pre-fire him, but Ezzy will put him out of his misery. They basically toyed around with the defenders this time around.
Yeah.
Just playing ring around the Rusies. They knew there was one attacker somewhere inside of bathroom, so they chased him down to the ends of the earth. But what did the Cypher do in return? Equinox thought it was a good idea to fight him all by himself. God Vexy and Ezzy, they basically they bamboozle ROG Academy. They make them waste so much time trying to figure out where they are, trying to figure out where the attackers are holding post plant, and they don't find anything eventually, running out of time.
I mean, I don't even know how the side of Seoul managed to pull together that round. You know, it's not a round that they should have won, to be honest. They lost their Jet right away.
Yeah.
They lost one of the most crucial components of their offense. Then somehow it seems like ROG just gave up a few kills. Batman, though, elsewhere is going to be able to pick up 2 quick kills. Wonder and Equinox both bite the dust here towards B main. But guess what? There's still Sensei waiting in the corner. And with the classic, he's going to find one. Shock and awe, and Batman's going to be pushed back.
Yeah, ROG Academy, they were holding for the pushes from these guys over here. They pushed down all the way towards B long and found those couple of kills, but return frags came in so soon and nobody expected that to happen. God Vexy is probably one of the only players who can save his team right now, already luring out Ludra out of his hiding holes, making sure that he's flushed out with the shock darts. But after all is said and done, the ROG Academy players are isolated and alone. Meanwhile, all the players of S8UL playing together along with the spike. So the numbers advantage belongs to them. Bullseye doesn't even have a dash, so if he gets a kill, it's going to be very hard for him to follow up with the second one. Unless he peeks out of the smoke like that. Nope. That's not going to work in his favor. They're holding for him. 1v2. And the HP advantage lies with Team S8UL. Although a force buy by ROG Academy is not something that they would have expected, so maybe Sensei still has the element of surprise.
Yeah, he picked up that Spectre of the dead body there. Jet bought that.
Nice.
Marshall, so looks like Sensei might just pull this round together for his team. He's gonna go
no.
for the clutch, but no. Looks away at the worst possible time, and Binks gets the better of him. A very, very costly round here for this side of Seoul. So not a bad round coming in here for ROG. I mean, minus the Marshall that was bought by Bullseye.
Yeah, so they basically got so much value out of that eco round. They didn't buy too many weapons, just a Marshall invested. They picked up the Spectres off the dead bodies, killed 4 players. And that kind of forces the players of Team Seoul to reinvest into their weapons. And that's why you can see there's no great buy across the board. Most people who have Phantoms and Vandals either have Light Shields, and the few people who do have heavy armor have Spectres. Oh my god, Bullseye getting away with murder like that, cold-bloodedly. And there's nothing that they can do to trade him away. Unless he peeks all by himself and then gives away his life. But maybe Bullseye doesn't have to do that. Oh, he does that in the end. I thought he might be a little smarter than that. Bullseye and Ludra both fall by individually peeking. And that gives Team Seoul the advantage that they need.
Oh, look at Equinox though, hiding in the corner there. Punishes Ezzy for peeking out a little bit, and Ezzy's gonna be frustrated. That should have been a kill for him under normal circumstances. Just didn't expect 3 people on site at once. Sensei making a lot of noise, trying to force out some utility, will succeed. And now Satchel's over towards Struck instead, making his way towards Lambs, jumps in the air, but Batman cleans him out, plucks him out of the sky. And he's gonna clean up even more. Equinox, good for another. Can he find a third? No, he cannot. Strix will clean him up. 3-0 in favor of Seoul. ROG, they yet to find their first round.
The A defense felt like a pack of cards in a strong wind. They both died so quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
They both faced each other. I mean, they both faced their opponents one by one. One of them was facing towards U-Haul, the other one fighting inside of bathrooms. Yeah, sure, Bullseye was able to get a kill, but then he peeked unnecessarily, giving up his life. Sure, even Ezzy died in a similar fashion, peeking all by himself, but he did it because he got baited out. So that was a forced error, not a mistake like this one. Ludra once again trying to be brave, trying to pick up the kills early on, but ends up giving up his life instead. And this is the mistake he's repeated for the 3rd time in a row. That's going to be very costly for ROG Academy. You can't afford to do that every time.
Yeah. I mean, ROG, if there's any chance of winning this round, surely is out now. Mike already been planted over here. Sensei also been caught off guard. Bullseye finds one with the knives though, so it's not the end of the world just yet. But with such little HP, he can't do much more, and there you go. There's the jump, the peek, and the dash away, and he's out of stuff now. As he got the jump on him, and we're gonna pretend nobody saw that. Bullseye gets taken out, and wonder... Yeah, the only thing I'm wondering right now is how he's gonna pull off this 1v4.
He probably won't. Maybe steal a weapon or two. Batman overextending. That's a nice headshot. Get away with the Phantom. Move while you still have the chance, but no, he wants to move in. And he's getting revealed by all the Sova utility. Still somehow flicks onto Binks. Now that's impressive. At least he caused some economic damage before he finally went down. Which is fine. I think ROG Academy should be able to buy again in the next round, so... saving really wasn't that helpful. Although, with one Phantom on board, you probably could have let Bullseye purchase some armor. Now, unfortunately, Bullseye will be buck naked. He only has an operator and nothing to protect him. So that's a glass cannon right there.
Absolutely, but who better to utilize the operator than the Jet? That's the question, right? Bullseye, probably the best user of that weapon. We'll see if he connects with that face shot. They don't seem to be going towards his crosshairs, though. They're all the way towards A instead. And Wonder will let go of that recon dart. Doesn't put anyone early on, but the boombox spots out Equinox. He's gonna take the peak, take a spike guy.
Nice.
Going forward, look at the fuel left off, and as he gets a return kill, sure, but the Yard has been used. They know exactly where the attackers are now. Ludra just needs to back up over here. Wonder letting go of some spam, doesn't find the kill, but eventually as he will peek and reveal himself. Wait, what? Nexi and Batman found the kill. It suddenly made this a 2v2. A lot more doable, but the spike still in bathrooms.
That's okay, they can retrieve it. No other defender present over there to stop them. It's funny how even after the Cypher revealed everyone's locations, the players of Team Soul was still able to walk into the Ace site. Oh, this could change things. The showstopper gets got Vexy. The spike plant has been denied. And Sensei kills the remaining players too. Finally, ROG able to put up a round on the board, and this is good. Wow. I mean, if they did not win this round, then S8UL would have started to build up more economy. They would have had too much money, and then they were going to be just rolling around in all these dollar bills, and they don't know what to do with all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, that round was a little bit insane coming in from Sensei, don't you think so? The blind showstopper getting the kill?
Yeah, he just anticipated where his enemy will be planting, and voila, he was correct. Equinox did a much more impactful role in that round. He played a bigger role. The double kill with the Phantom, that too when he was speaking all by himself. He could have very easily died, but oh no! God Vexy, falling prey to all that utility. The paint shells, the Hunter's Fury, everything being dumped at him. Spike recovered, but Binks is aware of the fact that Equinox is very close to them. Or is he? If he can get a couple of kills over here, that would be great. No! He just damages all of them, but kills neither. Bullseye finishes off what his judge-wielding teammate started. But to what avail? The man advantage is still neutral, and Strix needs to run and gun across the corner, walking into the shot dart. Wonder at least takes down one before he hits the dust, but Ezzy wraps up the remaining round.
See, I mean, that's so good for... Did I just hear another dash being used at the start? No, never mind. No. It wasn't. I still see the... I see it. I see the dash still on the chat. That was towards the end of the round. So yeah, it hasn't been wasted. But that did not look like a round ROG should have lost, to be honest. They found a lot of good opening kills. And sure, he was outside in a horrible position, but they still had man advantage. I'm not too sure what enabled Ezzy to get that insane two-man spray down. He caught 2 headshots in a row, and suddenly the round turned on its head.
Yeah, and it's gonna start doing 360s if ROG Academy don't stop Team Soul right now. Their mind doing somersaults, wondering how to stop this relentless team. They're hitting B this time, which is a change in pace. They've been hitting A so many rounds that B just almost did not seem like an option. But take a look at this. Equinox trying to be cheeky, pushing out of hookah, thinking nobody has cleared him. But of course, Batman was watching the back lines. They've taken control of the site now, and it seems like this will be yet another easy round for the side of TEAMXO. Unless Bullseye and Lutra keep hitting shots like those. That's what we want to see. Maybe another one? No, we asked too much of him.
Yeah, I mean, one with that kill was good enough. You know, I'm satisfied.
It was pretty stylish.
Obscuring fish concealment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, a 1v3. Just looking to do some more damage over here, but Binks will deny him. 4k for that man. And Soul, I mean, this just looks like a wrecking train that's not about to stop anytime soon. Kinda sucks, to be honest, for the side of ROG. They've now had, I think it's been 4 rounds where they could have potentially won, including the pistol, where they were on even footing against the enemy team, but unfortunately they just haven't found their groove yet. It's not even like they have a few rounds. They just have that one round that they managed to win thanks to Sensei's insane showstopper, but yeah, it just seems that apart from that, the side of ROG, they yet to show up. They yet to really start playing Valorant, and the side of Soul, they're making full use of this. Batman coming in with the Poison Orb lineup, straight towards Lakhs. It's going to make sure no one can watch him from there. Binks, I think he got revealed over there, but God actually takes out Equinox, although Equinox did take out Strix to start things off, but Bullseye comes into the operator, manages to find Binks, somehow misses that shot. I'm not too sure how that happened.
So here's the interesting fact. The bathroom control still belongs to the defenders, so they only need to clear out a few halls. But they'll know that Ezzy is this far ahead. As long as Ezzy is able to retain control over U-Halls, ROG Academy will not be able to win this round. The Toxin Screen still separating both these teams, and Ezzy continues to defend this area. Ludra does kill Vexy, but that is no problem at all. The one-way smoke somehow works against Batman, but Ezzy still very strong, on the verge of getting his quad, and he defends it with his life. No entry for you. U-Haul is his territory.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the name. It was easy for Izzy, and I don't think that round could have been any better for him. They just gets a 4k somehow and holds the line. And once again, ROG just giving up rounds that they really have no business losing. I mean, you were right, they had complete bathrooms control there. They only needed to clear out lamps, but it seems like, you know, while they were completely distracted by the fact that they didn't know where the defenders were, they kind of just lost sight of what they're supposed to do in that situation. The side of Soul, they capitalize. My god, Equinox taken on low, and Strix already found Loser to start things off over here. Strix not thinking of letting Equinox get away with this, and he won't. Yo, he takes some damage, but he gets the kill, and now it's a 3v5. And an almost impossible one at that. Binks finds Bullseye looking for more, but he has to reload in the middle of it all. Wonder's gonna clean him up, and that's one rifle for the defenders. Not the end of the world, there's still a 2v4 for them, and Wonder, no way he could have seen the shotgun would have landed there. No way whatsoever. That's just plain old bad.
Team S8UL and the amount of confidence they get when they start to change some rounds together. Look at the way Strix was dashing in. He moved into its truck. Binks satcheled into its heaven. These guys are attackers. They're supposed to just plant the spike and then get back to their usual defending spots. But no, they push all the way inside. They don't even let ROG Academy back onto the site itself. Forget site. They are not even allowed to leave spawn area.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, ROG Academy, they're really dazed over here. They're just not too sure how they're supposed to approach this. You can see they've left the Cypher in the race towards the B side. And looks like Soul will Byte. They are going to make their way towards there. So maybe this is going to come in handy. Snakebite comes through to clear out the Chubby. And Strix is the first man in. Someone gets caught on the tripwire, and Sensei cleans them up. Here's a showstopper. At the ready, looking for more. Can he find someone? No, but he does deal a lot of damage over to Ezzy. Gonna let go of that football. Is gonna find someone? No, it's not, and he gets cleaned up there by Binks. Ezzy and Strix quickly find 2 kills each. Strix is gonna fall off with another, takes out Wonder, leaving Ludra in a 1v4. And an impossible one at that. 3 ults to work against. This is... I'd be very surprised if he pulls this off. Looking for the first, will find it, but Strix cleans him up.
RG Academy had the right idea in that round, but they just failed to execute what they thought they wanted to do. The showstopper, it missed, no problem. I thought maybe the Boombot will clear out the player who's hiding inside the Nebula. Well, surprise. The moment he tried to put down the Nebula, Sensei was greeted by 2 people inside of Octagon. So there was no way he was surviving that one. And then he repeaked. Like, you survived the first encounter by chance and then you still repeat? Why would you do that? That's a mistake. Secondly, you had Equinox hiding just outside of Hookah, even though he was better off while playing inside the metal boxes and supporting his team from there. He changed position and he never even got anything out of it. Those mistakes are really costing ROG Academy.
Oh, yeah. It looks like they absolutely are, and Banks can make it even more expensive for the side of ROG as he finds one. And Strix follows up with another. Bullseye has got the judge. Can he find the kill? The wall? He does get the spike carrier, but cools down the process himself. Binks, still aggressive, just cleans up Sensei, leaving Equinox in a 1v4. And once again, Rock meet hard place. Equinox all by his lonesome. It'll be good for one though with the Spectre at that range. 40 points of life. Cypher Cage will be dropped, but I don't think he's going to be allowed to cross over just so easily. Man, keeping him in place. And they're not going to bite it. They kind of still predicted that Equinox would be in the corner and Easy is going to clean him up. 10-1 now. This is looking really grim for ROG. I expected this to be a much closer map. Not gonna lie, Crips, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening.
I swear, even I thought this would be a lot closer. But, hey, S8UL looking this strong? Or maybe it's just ROG Academy having a bad day. Maybe both.
Hey, maybe Seoul just decided today. I mean, they woke up and they were angry and
they chose violence? Yeah.
They chose violence, bloodshed, murder. Maybe you name it, they did it.
Maybe ROG Academy woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Clearly wondering where his enemies are. Gets a tag in the final laser beam. But no shot, disgusting shot. He was stunned. Bullseye getting out of that judge. Still able to get a kill, and Wonder finally able to get a kill with the shock dart. Returning the favor of what God Bexy did to him a couple of rounds ago. They at least put up a second round for it, so ROG Academy don't completely let this one go. Although at 10-2, yeah, that's still pretty dominant for S8UL.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And ROG, I just wish they could see. I mean, I just wish our viewers could see the chat right now because they all wrote GH at the end of that. You know, just after winning that one last round in the half, they all typed GH, and nobody from the side of Seoul responds. They just, I don't even know if it's BMing, but glad to see ROG sort of having fun at least. Well,
all right. I mean, maybe they're just, you know, being good-mannered people, well-behaved boys, gentlemen.
Could be, definitely could be. Could also be acting like a bunch of hooligans, but regardless of how they're acting, one thing is for sure, and that is the round advantage is not in their favor. 9-3 is cursed, but 10-2, I mean, that just leaves room for no errors whatsoever. Strix, being a little bit aggressive early on. He doesn't.
He's still fighting. Although it's not alone, he's still fighting with his teammates, but still, they are fighting. At least it's a 3-man defender stack towards this B site, so they should be able to hold on to this. Strix just decimating anyone who dares to peek ahead at the Toxin screen. And of course, the Viper making it extra difficult for them. Communicating really well about when she'll take down her Toxin screen. Every defender is extremely low on health on the B site. They need some sort of backup, but the people who are healthy enough are not on the site. The only person who's healthy over here is probably the Sova. And he's playing towards elbow, so he's not going to be first contact anyway.
This is... I mean, the Astra is still on the site, so it's not all... I mean, the Astra isn't on the site, actually. He's all the way towards A, and the spike is actually going towards A too. Equinox, though, is he going to check his corners?
He won't.
No, he won't.
No way.
That's going to be the spike. Badman, he's just going to follow him. He wants more.
There's no way.
No, he's going to go in for the knife. He's going to go in for the knife, and he cleans him up. There's a spike down over here. He's going to find...
Disgusting.
He found Sensei as well. Towards the end there. And ROG, this looking like the beginning of the end here, Crips.
Yeah, I mean, ROG Academy, forget about checking their angles. They don't even check what parts of the map they have in control and what parts they don't. They spend too much time outside of Hookah, too much time outside of B long, hoping that maybe S8UL will rotate their players away from the B side, assuming they're hitting A because, you know, they spend so much time being silent. And eventually, when ROG start to move in that direction, Equinox gets a blade in the back. Kind of like a little bit of Caesar action over there, but of course, Caesar died with a little bit of dignity. He did not. Ezzy gets dinked in the head. Okay, that's going to discourage him from peeking again. The paint shells will definitely force him to give up U-Haul. ROG Academy have a little bit of control, but they still need to get into the site, and that Nebula does not help them.
Okay, loser gets one. Says he, the person who was low. Wonder's gonna find one as well. He takes out Strix. Bullseye is AFK, by the way. He disconnected in this round, so he's not gonna be playing in this one.
Huh?
And it looks like they're all gonna rotate back towards B. They actually think it's a fake coming in. Wonder lining up a recon dart. What is that actually a lineup? It does look like it is. It's gonna go straight towards the back of site and reveal everyone over there. They don't see anyone, and this might just be the invitation for them to get the spike planted. Although, that man is still towards Labs. And they're afraid that this is just smoke and mirrors. Batman is not sure about this, so he's gonna peek and get both of them!
Spike down A.
Equinox and Wonder get cleaned up, and it's only Bullseye who's sitting in attacker spawn.
30 seconds
So
left.
AFK, he's gonna get cleaned up, and that's the round to the side of S8UL. So take your pick. 12-2 is gonna be the scoreline. When they do find the jet, they still don't seem to be biting it.
Yeah, who's gonna expect you to be like AFK in the tournament game? But hey, at least ROG
10
don't
seconds
lose
left.
too much. It was an equal round anyway, so they were never supposed to win anything out of this one. And if Bullseye die before the timer runs out, then he will have a little bit of bonus money going into the next round. But no, he does not. So
He will get cleaned up in the end there as Bing.
Yeah.
Point.
Spots
either
him out.
way, it was just an equal round, so they were never supposed to win this one anyway. So hey, maybe they'll pause the game right now and, you know, get it over with. Let Bullseye come back. Hopefully claw their way back into overtime, which does seem like a very tall order, but they try to do it nonetheless.
There you go. That's the pause. It's gonna come in as we wait for Bullseye to come back. And that's unfortunate. It doesn't seem like ROG realized that he was AFK for that round.
Exactly. I mean, your entry fragger is AFK and you don't realize, you don't even call for a pause.
I mean, you know, sometimes you just get caught up in the action and there's just so many things going on in your head, you fail to notice the simpler things.
Yeah, but that kind of indicates the communication gaps that have been going on in ROG Academy. We clearly pointed out there was a lapse in communication because whenever they give up a particular area, they don't talk about it. They don't communicate about it. That's how Seoul has been finding it so easy to get into these sites because ROG Academy do not communicate which angles they are holding and which angles they are letting go of. And of course, nobody can be a god. Nobody can hold each and every angle. But you need to communicate which ones you have in control and which ones you don't so that your other players are more careful. But there was a clear lapse in communication. At least they still are aware about the fact that S8UL will try to exploit any bit of the map control that they will give them. So the moment they leave B, Binks pushes out a hookup. They're aware about that one. ROG Academy still holding strong. Every player of S8UL, they try to peek out by themselves. And why wouldn't they? ROG Academy were camping. They were holding. And after the smokes are down, if you try to move through them, they will try and get the better of you. They will try to at least keep this game competitive. As difficult as it may seem, they don't want to give up just yet, so they will survive another round.
Standing ahead.
Well, Strix was able to find one. He gets Wonder in the end over there, and Sensei's gonna clean up God Vexy as well. So, you know, they do decide to peek one by one towards the end there when they didn't have information, but it's when the score is 12-3, so I'm quite sure we can forgive them for that. This is not bad at all. This is okay. You're allowed to have a few rounds like that, but for the time being, it seems that ROG will survive. Their money, it's good. I mean, they've still got the judge on Sensei. He's not gonna give that weapon up just yet. Everyone else is on Phantoms and Vandals, so should be pretty straightforward here for the side of ROG. I mean, this is not a round that Seoul should be able to win. Their economy not looking the best, although they do have two Phantoms here. Oh, real buy, but a buy nonetheless.
Yeah, they're trying to force out everything that they can from the limited economy that they have. Phantoms, Marshals, Spectres, Judges, you name it, they have it. Strix still able to connect a couple of shots through that Toxin screen. Now that's impressive. He's also got his teammates present over there. One of them is the Raze, obviously, with all the damage that you can do with the utility. And he's once again behind Equinox. Please don't tell me he knifes Equinox twice in the same game. No, he's more courteous this time. Of course, only to Equinox. For everyone else,
Yeah,
he's
oh,
still
just
a ruthless,
good job.
cold-blooded killer.
Neutralized.
Yeah. And in the end, Binks will be there to clean
Defenders
it
win.
up as Batman gives them a taste of their own medicine, 13-3 in favor of Seoul. This, I don't think they even broke a sweat. This was probably a game where they weren't even talking too much about what to do and what not to do. I'm quite sure that
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, somewhere or the other, it just didn't feel like ROG were posing a threat. It didn't
Not
seem
at
like
all.
ROG had a plan. Their attack seemed very disorganized. And for the most part, it seemed that their defense too, that like you've mentioned, it does seem like there's a lapse in communication somewhere. Player disconnects, you don't even know that until the next
Exactly,
round
until half the
starts.
round's over.
Yeah, and that just kind of sucks if either side of ROG over here. But hey, that's the first map. It is the pick of Seoul. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe because it was blind, the side of ROG weren't able to perform. Maybe it could be different on Haven. You never know. But
Could be.
this was still a bit of a spanking. Let's not take away from that. So let's have a look at the match highlights and see exactly how they did it. Because yeah, I'm quite confused as to how they got completely decimated here, Crips.
So there are several rounds in which you can see these lapses in communication. This was one of the more close rounds. I mean, he probably got information from his team that there might be a player coming back from short. That's why he looked in that direction. Maybe tried to nade towards the bathrooms area. That's how he did not clutch it out. But then you got stuff like this. Sensei peeking out all by himself. He knew that there are players present towards the U-Halls area. He knew that if he goes all by himself, he's going to die. So he needs his teammate to peek along with him. Never happened. Easy round going in the favor of S8UL. Further into this game, I mean, this was one of the rounds which I think ROG was able to win, right? I mean, Sensei, he stepped up for what he was not able to do in the round before this one. But then you've got stuff like this. You have control of bathrooms. You know you can take over the site all by yourself, but you still lose most of your players to Ezzy, and Ezzy gets a quad kill. Everyone thought that they needed to take control of U-Halls, which wasn't as necessary as clearing out the rest of the site first. If you try to channel all your players into U-Halls, obviously you're going to end up walking into crosshairs. And what do I even say about this, Loki? This is just disappointing.
Yeah, Equinox, I think he met this fate twice, except the other time, Batman was a bit more merciful. And,
Yeah.
So they were just adding insult to injury towards the end here. There you go. There's the moment.
Exactly.
In all its glory. Batman just getting himself a 3K somehow, giving them a taste of their own medicine. And sure, Sensei gets the kill towards the end, but not able to win the round, and the game goes to the side of Seoul. I mean, ROG Academy, I have to say, I was expecting more from them. This is kind of disappointing, not gonna lie. Usually, I expect them to be a team who's gonna pull off something weird, something funky that I haven't seen before, and they're gonna make it look good. But today, it just didn't seem like they were in the groove at all. It seems like they're woken up on the wrong side of the bed, and somewhere or the other, there's an issue that they need to fix, and I think they know it too. Because if this is how they're gonna play in the next map, then Soul is gonna make quick work of them. I mean, Batman and Ezzy, these guys, and God Bexy as well, these guys are not players you want to be screwing around against. You kind of want to take the wins when you get them, and if you don't, Batman and God Bexy and Co, they will make you regret it very, very much.
I mean, the fact that Team ROG Academy make the same mistakes again and again kind of tell me that S8UL will punish them on Haven pretty bad. Unless ROG comes in with some predetermined strategies and some executes that they have practiced really, really hard. That's the only time I see them not failing. But when it comes down to making spontaneous decisions and communicating well about them, I don't think ROG Academy have that in the bag. And that's pretty evident from the fact that Equinox failed to check Batman in the same position twice in the same half. First, it was this instance.
Oh, yeah.
This time, Batman was able to knife him. The next time Batman walks past Equinox, again, from the same spot, Batman is merciful enough to shoot him down with the judge instead of, insulting him with a blade. Either way, you can't keep making the same mistakes again and again, and you cannot afford to offer 1v1s to a team like S8UL, the team that likes to play together and rush as a 5-man unit. You cannot afford to fight 1v5 at the same time, right?
Yep.
You can't walk into so many people's crosshair at the same time. So you got to be careful about that. RG Academy need to work on some serious issues and somehow get their stuff back together in Haven.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just the ghost of the past for the side of ROG. There's been a similar performance previously as well, where the round should have been theirs, but they make a few unnecessary peaks, and then the round just comes tumbling apart. Hopefully, they fix that up for Haven, though, like you've mentioned. And I think with that said, I think we are going to be cutting to a short break. You're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3 powered by Crucial, along with our apparel partner 656, our accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner Aimlab. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with map number 2 in just a bit.
From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming.
Hey guys, welcome back to the LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial. Our apparel partner is 6x6, accessories partner is Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner is Aimlab. Some of you might be wondering, what did I do in the break? You can see now that me and Floki are twinning with the 6x6 jerseys. Of course, you can get your own. Just visit 6x6.com. Make sure that you use the codes of your favorite team so that you can support them as well. And of course, for this high-octane game, don't forget to scan the QR code so that you can get your own Red Bull cans. You guys have been watching Team S8UL versus ROG Academy, and the first map was pretty much a whitewash. Now we go into Haven, which happens to be the map pick of ROG Academy, but given the amount of mistakes that ROG Academy were making in the first game and the way they did not catch up on those mistakes even throughout the entire half, I mean, it makes me feel insecure about the performance in Haven.
I mean,
Yeah, sure, the map might support them, but the fundamentals, the communication, that still remains the same, and that is just not on point today.
I 100% agree with you. I feel like Haven is not going to be easy for I mean, it's not going to be easy for ROG, given that the mistakes they were making on Byte were more fundamental in nature. They weren't map specific.
Yeah, they weren't map
It,
specific.
it wasn't like they were not flanking, or it wasn't like they weren't retaking properly. No, it's very fundamental things. They were peeking when they were not supposed to. They were being a bit too aggressive. They weren't controlling the map properly, even when they had an advantageous situation. And I think that just sort of permeates across maps. It's not something that's going to be limited to Bind. So I think if RG need to win this map, then they need to completely change the way they're playing. Just overhaul it all. Give everyone different agents. Put Sensei back on the jet. Give Bullseye something like the Phoenix or something else that he can work with. And yeah, I think if they manage to do that, then they'll have an easier time on Haven. Although I have to say, I didn't really enjoy the double duelist composition coming out from the side of ROG, especially when they were on defense. That was just a little bit weird to me. I mean, I just cannot imagine a world where two duelists on defense is a good idea. I think they were much better off going
Even
for double sentinel over that. But guess what? The agent selection screen is ready, so let's jump over and you can finish the thought there.
I don't have a problem with the double duelist setup, but I do have a problem with the double duelist setup playing super passively. You need to get a little bit of map control. You can't let Team S8UL walk away with so much, especially when they're not even trying to get all that map control. It's just being gifted to them. So that's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that they cannot afford. So, in that manner, I think ROG Academy, all they need to do is just turn up the heat a little bit, no matter what characters they're playing. Just try to actively get more map control rather than letting Team S8UL walk away with all of it. Maybe S8UL had the advantage last time because they started on the attacking side, and once they huddle up together, all five men at the same time, if they execute one of those sides, it becomes pretty difficult to defend. This
Oh,
time, S8UL is starting on the defensive side, so maybe ROG Academy can mount a comeback.
Absolutely, and guess what? They too have gone for the double initiator setup, so they're both looking to play very active here, both ROG as well as the side of Soul. But I think at this point it's pretty much set in stone that you almost always will see two initiators on the map of Haven. Just that maybe I was
Select your
expecting
agent.
them to go for an extra control or an extra sentinel, maybe even an extra duelist, but definitely not a breach. I mean, that is something new for Batman. I don't think I've seen him play that before. He's usually the guy who's gonna pick up the cipher and be a lot more conservative on this map. But it
Hmm.
seems that ever since he's arrived at Seoul, his role, at least on the map of Haven, has changed a little bit.
Yeah, I used to think that Batman was the guy who plays the Killjoy by default. He used to play that when he was in his previous team,
Yeah.
and now he's picked up the Breach, which is something that I would have expected Binks to pick up. But it seems like Batman and Binks have just switched over their roles, and at least for the map of Haven, Batman will be in charge of making sure that RG Academy need to put their sunglasses on. Binks will probably make sure that his teammates are safe from any sort of backstabs, and also keeping his team very safe in post-spawn situations. Let's
Okay.
jump into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Although I do remember one very cool thing about Team S8UL from Haven last time.
Yeah.
Binks used his lockdown as a fake twice in the previous game that he played on Haven. And he was once again Killjoy over there. What he was doing is just he crawls up mid. Also, I'm talking about when he was in attack. He crawls up mid, gets outside of B, and then just waits to catch anyone rotating. That's what Binks did when he was on the attacking side on the Killjoy. Let's see if he does this or not. But we're going to have to wait an entire half to see that. For now, it seems like a very fast garage assault is in progress, combined with C long. Team S8 will give it up. They don't want to defend this side. They would much rather play for the retake.
Oh yeah, guess what? Izzy's already started on that. He's managed to find Luther in the meantime towards platforms, and they're all making a big scuttle back towards C long. They want to try and play for post plant. They've got a very good view on the spike over here, but look at Equinox on the flank. He's going to be able to pick up God Vexy and put some fear into their hearts of the side of Soul, but Binks will quickly clean him up and make it a 3-4. They flash the side, they clean him up, the recon dart comes through, and guess what? Sensei's gonna be there for the cleanup. They're all spamming the spike down low, but then they're all now reloading. They're kind of out of bullets at this point, and Binks trying to hold on, make sure that they can't really stop the defuse from coming through. They're not gonna get it. Oh man, even though the side of, I mean, even though the side of ROG had a good post plan going for themselves, it just wasn't direct enough. I mean, they couldn't look at it straight from C long. You have to be in the copy to have a clearer view of it.
I like what Equinox did over there. He was basically buying time for his team. S8UL, though, they didn't waste too much time. They all just decided to push him at the same time. You had players fighting him from the C link. You had players fighting him from the bottom of mid. So once the flanker was dealt with, all they need to do was make sure that the players on long can't really shoot them down. So Binks puts up his turret in an angle where it body blocks the diffuser. Everyone else just putting their own bodies ahead of Badman, protecting him with their own lives so that he can stick it. Once again, another C assault. This time, though, Team S8UL are not going to let this one go for free. They will contest the site and they will lose their lives. More to follow. Binks being cheeky around the smokes turns it into a 3v2. I think Soul was just much better off playing for the retakes. They don't have the man advantage with this one. But no, Sensei gets pinged, which means he can get pre-fired and killed with the shock dart too. But on the crossing, Ezzy can't make it across. 1v1, very little HP and Equinox should be able to deal with this one. ROG Academy make the eco round work for them.
Yeah, they forced bot actually. They didn't eco because they planted the spike. They were like, we're gonna force buy, we're gonna contest this round, and this is not something I was expecting from ROG, but good on them for doing that. You know, this is gonna bring back some momentum in their favor. It's gonna force the side of Soul to go for an eco as well. So yeah, this has effectively become a bonus round here for the side of ROG, and all because they decided to force in that one round. I mean, the money's not looking great right now, but by the end of this round, they're going to be rolling in credits.
Yeah, and that's the funny part. It was supposed to be the bonus round for Seoul Esports, not ROG. This is the other way around.
Strix narrowly avoids death there. Wonder is going to let go of that owl, but he does not spot anyone. And towards A main, it seems that Equinox is engaged in a battle with God Vexy, but yeah, this is going to be a slow approach coming in for ROG. They know it's a bonus round, and they would rather take this a little bit slower than give up any unnecessary kills like those ones. Ezzy peeks out at the best possible timing. No! Pulls out low! No! Ezzy gets Equinox this round! This gets turned on its head, leaving Ludra in an impossible 1v4. All the guns in the world available for them, and Ludra, I don't see how he takes this one out. He's been spotted as well. They know where he is, and they're going to try and take the fight to him. There's the aftershock coming in, and Ezzy's going to clean him up. Constant back and forth in this round. And God Vexy tried to reach the gun, but couldn't get it.
Too far, yeah.
Too far and
It's funny how Strix would have died if he did not dash away over there. The Trailblazer does 30 damage if it bites you. He was on 19 HP because of the shock dart. Imagine dying to a Trailblazer, an ability which isn't even intended to kill. So that would have been really funny. But what's funnier is that even after knowing where Ezzy was, they cannot deal with him. The first shot that Ezzy connected, understandable. The recon dart didn't really clear him out, so he gets a kill, and that should have been the end of that. But after that, 2 people died to him in a row, both of them peeking one by one. That should not have happened. Ezzy should never have been able to do all that much damage. Now he's got this ultimate too. Oh, Sensei peeking all by himself. I wonder why he did that. Saw 2 people at the same time, died instantly. Binks again fighting alone. Both these teams just not respecting the rule of trade fragging, but hey, as long as S8UL have the man advantage, Binks can do whatever he wants.
Absolutely. They've got the man advantage, they've got the weapon advantage, the economy advantage as well. Every possible advantage you could have is available on the side of Soul, and they're going to make it even better by taking out Luther. Of course, better safe coming out here from the side of ROG, but they get the spike planted, and that's kind of what they were looking for. To make sure they have enough money the next round. Oh, Ezzy, despite being blinded, gets the kill. Badman, one step closer towards his Rolling Thunder, and that ult is a beast for retakes.
Yeah, but he gives up his ultimate point to God Vexy instead.
That's also not bad. The Cosmic
Divide
also pretty good.
Yeah, the Hunters, I mean, they already have the Cosmic Divide. Binks has his Lockdown now. Keep in mind, Cosmic Divide plus Lockdown, best retake combination. Best ever retake combination. And on top of that, God Vexy is 1 point away from Hunter's Fury. Badman 2 points away from Rolling Thunder. The Hunter's Fury can be the most versatile ultimate in the entire game. You can use it to stop people from planting the spike, stop them from defusing. get them, cornered when they're rushing down, or just simply clear out some common positions. It's just so versatile. Strix, concussed, has too many players coming towards him. He needs to get back to safety where numbers are in his favor. He's back on the side. They're double peeking on long. Team S8UL shutting down the C-long rush, and he wanted to kill the Sova over there while he was in his drone form, but Bullseye protects him. I'm surprised he didn't die to the aftershock, but hey, as long as they keep peeking RRG Academy one by one, Seoul will give up the advantage that they had. They still have one player extra. You have this guy on 10 HP, so the HP advantage certainly lies with Team Seoul, but now that there's plenty of time available, RRG Academy can wait. They can just hold on to this area. They can maybe expect a member from Team Seoul to overextend, and then hopefully they get a kill. Like this one right here, turning it into a 2v2. They just wanted Ezzy to peek. But do they know that Binks is right around the corner? They're checking for him, but no! I thought Wonder should be able to get him, but Bullseye actually body blocked Wonder's vision.
Unfortunate there. Couldn't really see him at the end of the day, and Binks lines them both up. Another great round here for the side of Seoul and RRG. Once again, it's going to be back to basics, back to square one. Get your sheriffs out because try to one-tap some heads. And otherwise, you're not taking this round away. An operator available for the side of Strix, and this just keeps getting better and better for Seoul. They've got a lot of money in the bank. They've got the best possible weaponry, full kits of utility. On the other side, RRG, they're still struggling to find the second round of this game, and Strix gonna make it even harder by picking off Sensei right at the start.
Keep in mind, Sensei was one of the more influential players of his team. He was one of the best fraggers at the previous map. But Ludra this time takes the responsibility on his own shoulders, jumping into Garage. Nobody else is able to get that much value out of their sheriffs, but definitely the Sky can with her flashes. Equinox setting up a bait. Really nice stuff as Strix walked into his own cloudburst, and now Bullseye has the AWP. I'm starting to get nervous. This might just be a round that RRG takes away. They tried to plant the spike, the Hunter's Fury, a little late, but it still gets Equinox. Bullseye's position has been revealed, but with the AWP in his hand, you can't really take any risks. He stags. He might just get spammed, but no! What? How did he do that? Oh my god, Bullseye had absolutely zero chance of winning that round out, but he surprised us all. Hit the rewind button, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get shots like that every day.
That was insane coming in from Bullseye. I don't think he planned to do that, but they lined up perfectly for him. From the chest of one to the hand of another. And that's the round done and dusted. And that's what the operator's capable of in the right hands. Great round coming in for RRG. That should restore some morale and, be sort of like, a double whammy, because that's a round that the side of Seoul should have won. I don't know if they're going to be a little bit tilted after that. Well, Strix finds Sensei right off the bat, so that's going to help them restore some form of sanity, but it's still, I wouldn't be too happy with that round if I was Seoul. Well, it's like they say, it's a new day, it's a new me. Badman's got the Rolling Thunder available, and they also have the man advantage now in their favor, so yeah. They don't really have a lot to worry about at the moment.
I mean, you mentioned the Rolling Thunder. That's not the only thing they need to be scared about.
Oh, yeah.
4 ultimates available on Team S8UL. ROG have 3 ultimates. I wonder when they'll start to use those. Wonder can use his Hunter's Fury, clear out some of the more common angles. Ludra with his Cosmic Divide alone can't really do much. Oh, but Equinox, he doesn't even need any utility. He just goes in, dry peeking and winning the duel against Strix. Now starting to take control towards A link, but the moment he takes his hats off, unleashing the power of his arms, Badman pushes them all out of the sight, but no, he doesn't check the angle. Bullseye holding for him. Just like Badman was caught off guard, Godvexy catches Wonder off guard. Sova versus Sova, Astra versus Sova. Oh my goodness, frags are going back and forth, and somehow Bullseye is left all by himself. He might not check the angle as he gets him.
Great stuff here from the side of Seoul once again, and sure, the Rolling Thunder, they overextend on that a little bit. Badman gets caught out, but it does its job. It clears out the entirety of B side. It makes sure that they cannot get the plant, and that's the round done and dusted. I mean, elsewhere, Godvexy just completely outplayed Luthra, which is a whole different story, but man, was that round a good way? I mean, or rather, a textbook retake coming in from the side of Seoul. Very patient play. Very quick as well. As soon as they realize that, they need to take the site back, otherwise they're gonna have a hard time reaching it. No pun intended. They let go of the rolling thunder and they get it.
Yeah, and that's the best part. There's 3 retake ready ultimates available on the side of Team S8UL, but ROG, none of those abilities will seem to work. Sensei just dancing around and decides to give up later on. And Binks makes him regret that decision too. Wonder and Bullseye keeping it competitive, but in a 3v3 situation, there's really not much you can do when your backstab is being cut off. Wonder going for a drone in a situation like that when you're supposed to be planting the spike, that is not productive at all. Now, even if they plant the spike, they can't run away. Oh, now maybe they can. Equinox clearing out the area. At least they have the avenue of exit available. But all this breach utility is making sure that the spike plant is extremely delayed. That lets God Vexy get into position. They know God Vexy is present towards Garage, and they're hoping that they focus towards Garage, because then take a look at what the breach is doing. Just trying to go on the other side, hoping to use his teammate as bait, but God Vexy can't clutch out every time. This time, it's Equinox who stands tall.
Yeah, Kraytron coming in from the side of ROG once again. Sensei not even playing Valorant, they're just playing hide and seek with his with the enemy team. And he survives long enough to, buy them time and buy them space, more importantly. That was a lot of ultimates committed from the side of ROG, and they make sure that it's worth it, right? They use the Hunter's Fury, they used the Cosmic Divide, and they use the Cosmic Divide as well, and they make sure that they're able to get some value out of it. The only issue now is that there's still 3 ults up and running for the side of Seoul, and rest assured they are gonna pop it if they feel like they need to. Got the Seekers at the ready this round though, so maybe that can be the saving grace for them, but Strix with the Operator, he's gonna be hard to clear off. Had a shot there but misses. Has to lead.
Got your trail.
Okay.
Seekers committed. And that's a lot of utility pushing through this tiny corridor. A lot of people too. A single Hunter's Fury can decimate all of them. Yes, that's exactly what I was worried about. It forces them all to get out. Go straight into the crosshairs of Batman. And now they're getting stunned with the Gravity Well. S8UL have them pinned in a corner. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. No, I take that back. It's like forcing the fish to go into a barrel and then executing them. That's how brutal this crowd control from S8UL is. They're manhandling ROG Academy, forcing them to dance to the rhythm of their beat, and then Batman blows him off his feet. Wonderful shot. And it's just Equinox. He was responsible for clutching out the previous round, but can he do it again?
30 seconds
Not
left.
looking as easy for him. There's still Ezzy on the enemy team. And with all these players alive, it's going to be hard to retake it. Maybe he can find God Vexio here. Give him an opening, but no, Batman peeks right at that moment. Puts Equinox in a tough spot, and he gets cleaned up at the end. Great stuff coming out here from the side of Seoul once again. It didn't seem like ROG never really had a chance ever since Batman found those 2 kills. A little bit of miscommunication there. I don't think he knew that God Vexy was stunned in the corner. Could have used the aftershock on the side. Used the aftershock to get God Vexy towards the end, and yeah, at the end of it all, it was the side of yeah, it was the side of S8UL who took the round.
Yeah.
Took me a while to find the words, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be out of the academy. Try to take the fight, and somehow they get Strix with the Sheriff. Not something I was expecting today. A Sheriff there taking out the Operator. That's insult to injury. Batman gets 3 with the spray down, but Sensei just as beautiful. It's gonna find 2 in return. Make it a 2v2. The weaponry to the side of S8UL a lot more, and they're gonna find Equinox as well, leaving only Sensei by himself with a Vandal in his hands. Can he clutch this one out? Binks looking to peek. Doesn't see anyone. Once again, the plant being fake over here. Binks is just standing there. He sees him, and there you go. There's a little peekaboo for Sensei, and Sensei not pushing it just yet. 43 points of life. Kind of low. Kind of hard to clutch this one out, but he's gonna try to do this regardless. The Gravity Well coming in, but the spike is gonna be planted regardless. Sensei made vulnerable, will be cleaned up by Binks. Round done and dusted. And I have to say, that was very patient play coming out from Binks. Not something I'm used to seeing very often, by the way. Binks and patience, usually they're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Here.
Badman was a little impatient this time around, I'm gonna tell you, and even that's unorthodox. First, his teammates were peeking through A long, and he was just present over there to provide backup with his arms. Flashes, fault lines, you know, the whole
Regular
works.
stuff.
Yeah, the regular utility stuff, just standard breach stuff. He was never supposed to fight them in the first place. And Batman never really does that when he's on the breach. He mostly sets up his teammates for the flashes. He doesn't fight himself. But then when his teammates died, he was like, ha, fine, I'll do it myself. Pulls out the Infinity Glove, wipes out half the server. 3 kills in his bag. But this time, Strix takes a nice shot to the dome. Binks playing a 1 and an angle. I'm kind of worried about this. Bullseye punishes it. That's why you don't play that aggressively from a position where you can't fall back. AC holding the corner. The Nebula actually saves him. He dinks the Sova in the head, falls back to safety. And the moment they try to enter the site, the Rolling Thunder is prepared, but not all of them get stunned. Ludra still has his wits about him. And now he's got their heads too. Double kill for Ludra, saving his team from certain annihilation. This might just be 7-4.
Yeah. If Binks was alive, that could have been a completely different story, because the turret would have still been active and they would have known Ludra is there towards platform. But because Binks died so early on, Ludra got into C for free, and now God Vexy is in the situation. And there's the internal monologue you're looking for. Yep, that's me.
You're probably wondering how I got here.
Absolutely, that's the monologue I was looking for. And Bullseye, he's gonna clean up God Vexy with the operator he scavenged from Strix's
Last
body.
round before the switch.
7-4, not a bad half here for the side of ROG, but they would like to add a 5th one to the collection just to make the defense a little bit easier.
They got more rounds in this half than they got in the previous match. So already a much better performance from ROG Academy. But they need to win this one too. 7-5 is what they need to make it competitive. If they let S8UL walk away with 8, well then, you know, the whole numerology thing comes into aspect and it kind of becomes a lucky charm for them. 3 ultimates available for the side of S8UL. One of them is the Lockdown and Cosmic Divide combination. They haven't used it throughout this entire game. I hope they use it at least once. Oh no, Binks gets killed! Yeah, no more retake possible for them. They need to defend this one, and Izzy is very good at it, keeping his teammates safe, but Bullseye whipping both their heads off of their shoulders. That's the opening they were looking for.
Take flight.
Did I just hear a
Spike
classic?
planted.
Enemy tag.
I just heard a classic, but they both have Spectres, so yeah, that was just a bit of a debate there. 3 people all playing towards containers, so this could be messy. I mean, those short darts could do a lot of work over here, but guess what? They're gonna spread out, they're not gonna let that be a problem. The Jet trying her best to connect some of those knives that will fail in the end, but God Vexy, what the hell is that spray transfer? He's up on points too. No, he could not. 1v1 6 will clean him up.
Strix, we saw that. He kind of had to bait God Vexy over there, but hey, as long as you win the round, it's a good bait.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very surprised that they somehow managed to pull that round together. That was not a round they should have won. I don't know how on earth God Vexy managed to get that straight transfer connect, but that definitely was a headshot into a chest shot, because I remember Bullseye being quite high on HP. I'm quite sure he had full HP and shields there.
Even if he did not, it is a very difficult shot to connect.
Yeah.
So, really good stuff by God Vexy. People do know him for clutching out quite a lot, but hey, it is S8UL Esports, and it's only poetic that they get 8 rounds in the first half.
Oh yeah. I mean, 8 rounds for them, a very good scoreline. RG, you know, it's going to leave them in a tough spot over here. They basically only get 1 chance after the pistol, and if they screw it up, it's going to be curtains closing for them. 4 seconds left. Round's going to start soon, and they better hope the defense keeps up, because they're quite spread out across the map. They've got the Astra and the Cypher towards C, trying to hold that site down as well. You've got this guy playing B for sort of retake over here, and Strix is going to capitalize on that, even though he doesn't know it. And they're all going to try to make their way towards mid. Now the stars come in and the smokes are through. They're going to try and retake this one. The flash comes out, the Bullseye can't peek. I will finally let go of one. Oh, but they don't see, they don't check behind the goal next. He's still... Oh yeah, he's
What?
them up. Ah, unfortunate here. In the end, God will get cleaned up. Equinox will find him, but the rest of Seoul very, very low. I mean, look at that. The Astra is low, the Jet's low. It's only Batman who's still alive and healthy. The spike has been
Yeah.
cast, but the defuse can't come in just yet. The concuss is going to come through as well. The aftershock, everything in the kitchen sink to stop the defuse. And now the spam comes through, but they're unable to find him. They're protecting Equinox with their bodies, and they will succeed. Wonder and Sensei clean up. Badman remaining alive. It's going to get spammed into oblivion.
You're not getting
And
the
ROG,
message.
they
Leave it to
won
me,
the
I'll
match.
mess them up.
They won the map they were supposed. They won the round they were supposed to. Jesus.
Yeah, and this will let them get to probably 8-6. Unless S8UL also force buy and, you know, give ROG a taste of their own medicine. I must say though, Binks dying early has caused them quite a lot of problems. They were never able to use the lockdown Cosmic Divide retake combination in the first half, only because Binks was dying pretty early. Even this time around, Binks died, which means no nanoswarm grenades available for the post plant. If he was probably alive, then they could have stopped the defuse from happening in the first place. Although, what is done is done. They're back to Sheriffs now, and they just want to cause some economic damage. A Vandal purchased by Sensei. Pretty hefty investment, and I think it's probably going to be denied because he's stunned, and they don't check him. At least they get the trade, so now Strix has a Vandal to work with, and that's a much stronger weapon than one would have wanted to hand over to him.
Oh yeah, I mean that is a big loss inside of ROG. There's still Spectres
Spike
available,
down
and they're doing
A.
their work. They take out Binks and God Vexy, and they spot the
I got the
spike as
spike.
well towards it. Strix is able to get it. He can retreat from here. I mean, this gives them an opening. And with the Vandal, if they find the fights that they're looking for, they could potentially get away with the spike plant, but oh no. Tripfire is going to be a thorn in their side. They clean it up, but now they're all going to come swarming back towards C and hopefully into the crosshairs of Ezzy, who's creeping around the corner. Yes, what is one for bait and switch
remaining.
situation here, but Equinox, even though he bit, it didn't
30
punish him.
seconds left.
He's able to take the bait and run away with it. The trap was not sprung, and Strix looking to get the spike planted over here, but Strix can't do much over here. Once again, I mean, he spots out Luthra, but he can't really connect the shots with the Vandal, and with the time ticking down, it's do or die, and he's gonna choose the latter.
Ah, poor guy couldn't go anywhere. If he moved towards the right, the recon art would have revealed him. If he moved towards the left, gravity would have sucked him in. And yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles. This poor guy was surrounded with all that utility and players over there, so that is the end of that round for Team S8UL. They don't lose too much. They get a couple of kills, make it a little expensive for ROG, then keep them humble. That's the important part now.
Yeah.
You want ROG to beat down on just Spectres. You don't want them to upgrade their weapons. Team S8UL have the better weaponry right now, but they don't have heavy armor onto Ezzy and Badman, so that's a concern.
Bot coming back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's gonna be a pause coming out once again. There was a bit of a mistake. You know, Bullseye, he did DC, and they unfortunately ended up unpausing at the worst possible time. Bullseye isn't back just yet. They're gonna wait, and yeah, there you go. There's the apologies coming out in all chat, but don't worry. As soon as he's back, we're gonna be going straight into the game. There's 0 seconds left on the timer. They better be in position, because yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to get Bullseye back towards wherever he needs to play. Probably B once again for the retake. And I have to say, I like the approach coming out from the side of ROG. It seems to be working, and that's the only reason why I like it. I mean, you know, they're playing B for retake. They're committing heavily towards C and A, looking to not give it up without a fight, or at least without a ton of utility being used. And I like that approach, you know, ROG. It shows that they're thinking about how they want to play defense, and it seemed like that was sort of lacking the last time we had a look on them on Byte. I mean, they were looking very, very shaky. They were peaking at the worst possible time. They were not controlling the map properly. This time around, they have a very clear idea of how they want to run this map.
But it only worked for them for 2 rounds in this half. We can't really base anything off of it. This will be their acid test, and there's a good chance that Team ROG Academy does not win this one, considering they don't have the better weaponry. But anything can always happen. Sensei can still walk in through shot and catch Strix off guard. That's a free kill for him. Nobody was checking for Strix. He somehow manages to get away, retaining the man advantage that he got his team.
Oh yeah, I mean, great stuff coming out from Sensei.
Just knowing that someone has pushed up A main and punishing them at the worst possible time. Soul not actually helping out the Jet. I thought they would definitely do that, but Binks sprays down two towards A main, and that should be an opening created. He's gonna rush in with the spike. Knives out, but he might find Bullseye looking towards him, and there you go. That's the spike being
Spike
taken
down.
out. You're all
Why?
the way towards the A site. Could be an
And-
opening here for the side of ROG.
Yeah, and oh no, Bullseye reloading. That gives away his position. He doesn't activate the flash. Somehow they don't check him. I thought they knew where he was. Very questionable decisions by S8UL. First of all,
Revealing
Binks
enemy.
running in with the spike all by himself. No backup. That's a big red flag.
30
Then
seconds
they don't
left.
check this guy, even though clearly position was revealed.
remaining.
Oh, they peeked him at the same time. Imagine if Vexy was able to flick to the other guy once again like he did in the previous round. That would have been a heartbreaking clutch for ROG. But they somehow still survived. ROG inching closer and closer to S8UL.
I mean, that S8UL had no business losing that round. Binks getting a bit overzealous there. Pushed all by himself. Even had his knife out. And sure, he took his phantom out in time, but he just wasn't aiming at the right place, and Bullseye cleaned him up. That round looks very, very different if, number one, Binks does not go all by himself, and number two, they actually check for Bullseye and they hear the Hawk coming in. That was very weird. I thought at least after the Hawk came in, they would know where he is, but they didn't. And Bullseye, he's gonna push up towards mid. I'm not sure if they caught him. Sensei finds got Vexy over here, and towards long, Ludra is gonna find Ezzy. But look at Binks, he snuck into Garage. Sensei is gonna find Batman.
One enemy
Bullseye
remaining.
still waiting outside mid. Hasn't found anyone just yet. Oh my god, that is a huge whiff coming out from Bullseye. But in the end, Equinox is gonna be there to stabilize.
Hey, it was just an eco. At least they got done with it pretty quickly. I also like how S8UL are they're trying to be aggressive in these eco rounds. They just want to gather information on what the defensive setup of ROG Academy looks like. If they have that information early on in the half, then they can probably use it in the more important buy rounds. And that's probably why Batman has called for a tactical timeout over here too. He wants to leverage all the information that they have gathered. Let's take a look at what the setup of Team ROG Academy has been like on their defensive side. We most likely have the Cypher play towards Garage and B, placing his trap fires and then abandoning the area. If ROG Academy tries to attack the mid region, they will most likely let them go for the spike plant and then play for disruptive utility. Like, for example, pushing out of smokes with flashes or trying to kill them while one of them is busy planting. You know, ROG Academy like to exploit the timing of the mid push if that is where Team S8UL decides to move. But whenever S8UL is moving towards C or towards A, they just rotate regularly. They don't have any of those preemptive rotations, nor are they very fast.
Yep.
So if ROG can somehow make their timing a little better, then they will never have to face a 2 versus 5 situation when two of their players are defending a site against the whole team of S8UL. You know, maybe you can get them out, play for a retake, or maybe you can get backup over there faster. Both those options are equally viable, but staying in status quo is definitely not something that ROG can afford to do. Especially not now, because Binks has the lockdown. Strix 1 point away from his ultimate. Batman and God Vexy both very close to their own ultimates as well, so this could be a disastrous round. God Vexy spots out the Cypher, but he has no idea there's one more player right next to him. Binks doesn't care. He gets the shot onto both of them. And that too with a dry peek. It wasn't assisted with any flashes, no sort of backup. It's just Binks being a hero right now. And a hero he is. Even though Ludra has killed him, that forced Ludra to abandon the seaside and focus on Garage instead, resulting in a free plant.
Oh yeah, and look at this now. They kind of want to retake the seaside, but they don't have the best positions. Luther needs to go all the way back from Garage to help his team out. And he can't do that. It's not going to be so easy, especially with Sensei on the operator. This is a very hard retake. Batman looking to flash himself out of that position, but it won't be successful. Ludra will be able to get the cleanup kill, and Sensei, with the knives out, is looking to find a pick. Got revealed up in the air. They're dropping Cloudburst, looking to tap the spike. Ludra cleans up another. He finds Strix, and there's the Hunter's Fury coming in, being forced out. God Vexy only had to use one here, and Sensei will tank it. They get the defuse going, but they're not able to do so. Oh, as he's gonna make sure that Ludra won't be able to get the clutch going, and that's it. The round's done and dusted, and Ludra's gonna get cleaned up by the spike as well. great plays coming out here from the side of S8UL, starting with Binks, just 2 quick headshots, and then the round just came tumbling down. And even though Luthor made it look really, really good for a second there, it just didn't seem like they had a chance with all the utility and the ultimates available for the side of S8UL.
Yeah, I agree with that one. But, you know, Binks has his lockdown now, and I kind of see him going for those fakes again. He's been the guy who plays towards the mid-region quite often, and you saw him get those nutty shots last time. If he's able to get into a deeper position, he can use the lockdown and probably use it as fake. Maybe even a full commitment if that's what they're keen on doing. But Equinox trying to take matters into his own hands. Pushing out of C-Long, thinking it was empty. He was hoping to backstab his opponents, but did not realize that he'll end up walking into their camp.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this lockdown place from Binks. Just outside of B. See how much room it forces ROG Academy to give up. They're in the site now, and they should be able to catch Wonder, but no, Wonder wins the duel, even though he was the one peeking out of the smoke. That's unexpected. As he's low on HP, maybe he can die as he's trying to cross. Batman saves him. Still a 4v4. This retake is possible, and even more so now that God Vexy has killed Bullseye, the one annoying character who can stop people with her flashes. Oh no, they're winning everything. The aim duels just simply don't seem to be rolling in the favor of ROG Academy. God Vexy now looking to peek once more alongside Ezzy, but it's only a single peek. So Ezzy dies. No problem. He was just supposed to do some delaying moves over there. He was never supposed to win those battles in the first place. S8UL still very keen on chasing them down.
Yeah. Even though they've called in for the save, they're gonna try to chase them. Strix will get cleaned up though. Wonder will get to keep the Vandal. He takes out Batman too. Is he gonna get the ace? No, he's not.
Close, but no cigar. Even if he did get the ace, it would be, you know, a pretty useless one. Didn't win the round after that.
Yeah,
But at least he has his Hunter's Fury ready, so that's something.
that could be massive actually. He can hold on to B with that if they do decide to go B, but it looks like they're going to be setting up for an A push instead, already dropping a star towards A main early on. Or is that a fake? Yeah, looks like it's going to be a fake, and guess what? The side of ROG, I think they've read this. Sensei is going to peek out towards Garage, sees one, but doesn't connect the shot. Actually, I don't think he saw anyone. Well, looks like they're going to be going straight in towards C. They get caught on the tripwire, though. Binks is going to be able to clean that up. And look at them, they're trying to make their way towards the site, but there's just so much utility towards the direction. Finally, Batman and Ezzy will clean them up, open up some room towards the site, but they still need to deal with Bullseye, who's going to be cleaned up in the end, leaving Wonder in a 1v2 against Ezzy and God Vexy. He can't pull it off. He's got the Hunter's Fury, but can he find the opening picks? Well, start things off with a Shock Dart, and Shock Darts being exchanged back and forth between both the Soas.
One Sova clearly more healthier than the other one. If that recon dart reveals God Vexy's position, Hunter's Fury could come his way, but no, Ezzy catches Wonder at the best time possible. With the bow around his arms and his pants around his feet, there's no way Wonder would have been able to clutch that out.
That was massive, actually. Look over to the side of the econ. I mean, look over to ROG's economy, right? They don't have enough money in the bank remaining. They've only got a couple thousand credits each. If they go for the eco on this one, they're going to be in it for the long haul. They are going to be banking on the fact that they will win 4 in a row and take it to overtime. And yeah, this is not a good position to be in if you're ROG, quite obviously. So they better pull this one through. They better do some sort of economic damage, because it is still possible to just sort of mitigate the economy on the side of S8UL and make life a little bit harder for them. But is it actually going to happen? A gamble stack towards A might just pay off.
Binks has used up both his nanoswarms already, so I'm worried what they will do in the post plant. Oh, never mind. When you got the rolling thunder like that, there will be no defenders available for the post plant, so Binks can do whatever he wants. 2 versus 5 established already. And yeah, things are not looking so pretty, let me tell you that. Sheriff's in hand. The best that they can do is probably yoink a gun, steal it away, and hope they can carry it into the next round. Even that seems bleak.
Okay, Equinox is just gonna get cleaned up in the end. God Vexy is gonna find him, and that's that. Great round coming in here from the side of S8UL, and yeah, this looks like it's going to be it. I mean, they've got one last round on the side of ROG, but even if they win this round, the economy on S8UL just a bit too strong at the moment.
Oh yeah, they
That
have money
is-
for days.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be rattled, even if they lose 2 in a row, I think. As long as they get the spike down in one of these rounds, they're going to be fine on money. But the side of ROG, man, that's a house of cards. It's gonna fall apart any moment. Nanotron right at the start towards Suez, but it doesn't connect. Sensei's still gonna be able to get the pick and back off back to safety. That's huge. They take out Binks. That's gonna open things up for them on the map, allow them to be a bit more aggressive with their positioning. And the owl drone to scout things out. Is it gonna check Badman? No, it is not.
Batman goes undetected. I like how... Oh, no, never mind.
Spike
Cancel
down
whatever I
A.
just said. I love how Batman waited for the timing. Strix, what? Pre-firing through the smoke. All
Okay.
right then. Gets a nice kill onto Sensei. An opportunity to retrieve the spike has been created. They have to use a Nebula in order to safely retrieve it, but they managed to do it in the end nonetheless. 50 seconds still left on the clock, which means if they wait a little bit, they will have another Astra shot available, but they don't do that.
Down A.
They instead decide
One
to move
enemy
right
remaining.
in. Bullseye from under the heaven region has been pretty damn successful so far, but this time around, he will have to be on point. And yes, he is. Changing his position, making sure he's ready for the next wave of the attackers.
Well, the best case scenario for them, they save the operator, they have enough money left over for a buy, they can't drop a Vandal, and this is about as good as it gets for the side of ROG. You haven't broken the camel's back just yet if you're S8UL, but look at their economy. They just rebought, and they still have credits remaining over if they lose this round. So, not bad at all. They probably want the spike plant, though, in this round if they're going to be going for the longer road. And this time around, it's going to be a 5-man wrecking crew towards A main. They're making all the noise in the world. And everyone is making their way towards the A side. They don't see any movement outside garage. They don't see anything towards C long either. No one towards B main. Owl being used. Killjoy being spotted. I think it's very clear that this is an A take coming in. But those Astro smokes do a lot of work here. It's going to force out a couple of rotations. And there you go, the Cosmic Divide comes through as well. Equinox still holding towards mid. They still have it rotated over to the A side. This could be disastrous. They're going to get free map control here, S8UL. They're going to get the plant down. And the rest of the team are just going to play it for the retake. The Hunter's Fury comes in. It does end up tagging Badman, but it doesn't get the kill. Badman will finally get that spike down.
Spike planted.
Bullseye in span, so he can't really peek from this place. He's got the flash at the ready, but the second Cosmic Divide comes through, and this is from the defenders. ROG, the retake coming through. Can they find the picks that they need? Godbexy, good for one, takes out Bullseye, but Equinox with 1-2 managed to find them, but Strix cleans them all up.
Attackers win.
And S8UL, they are going to be able to take this map and the series 2-0 as they demolish the side of ROG.
What a quick series of frags there towards the end. Such a fast kill feed. That was ridiculously good. And I love the way how S8UL were holding on to their ground on the retake. The Cosmic Divide came through, which basically is supposed to lure out the enemies hiding inside long and short and force them to come into the open. It did not really do that. S8UL decided to fight on their own terms. I mean, especially with Badman and Rexy stepping up like that. I can't imagine this round going any other way. What a stylish way to finish off this game. And this was a pretty important game too. Keep in mind, with this 2-0 win, Team S8UL might just have what it takes to overtake Team VALOR.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're afraid of God Particles. They were in the 6th position. They weren't in relegation just yet, but they're definitely going to be above God Particles now. And yeah, I mean, that's really saying something. Now, sure, God Particles haven't played the 6th match, but it seems like they are going to be moving up a notch a little bit. Let's have a look at the series highlight powered by Crucial, of course, and let's see exactly what went wrong here for the side of ROG Academy. I mean, this was their map to lose, and they did end up losing it. Had a lot of good early momentum going on into this map, when they were on defense, but unfortunately, just couldn't see it through. It seems that S8UL just busted the door wide open, and after the first 2 rounds, I don't think ROG got a single one.
After the first 2, my
Oh,
memory
wait,
isn't
they
that
did.
great.
No, no,
But
they did. It's my bad. The score was 8-4. They made it. They got 8 rounds. So yeah, they did get a couple of rounds after the first two on defense.
yeah, but for the most part, Bind can be summed up as RG Academy peaking one by one and not understanding which part of the map they haven't controlled and which one they don't. Sure, there were some really standout moments from players like Sensei. Sometimes you even had some breakout plays from Equinox. He was a great cipher, but according to Batman, he is just a person who does not check angles because of obvious reasons. You'll see them over here. Batman almost able to knife Equinox twice in the same game.
Yeah.
So that's that. In Bind, Team ROG Academy seemed like they had absolutely no idea what they were doing, running around like headless chickens. S8UL had that experience for a little bit in Haven, but they were able to stabilize in the end.
Not gonna lie, S8 are looking pretty good with the addition of God, Vexy, Adman, and Ezzy. These guys are looking a lot more consistent now, and I think that's maybe just what the side of S8UL needed. They needed someone who brings that consistency, that level head to the team, and can also deliver in situations like these where he just got a 3K with the judge. I mean, I have to say, S8UL, if they keep up this performance, they could be a serious contender in the gauntlet. But I think the stars need to align for them to make it to playoffs. I think Valor need to lose a couple matches, and the side of Seoul or S8UL need to win every single match that is going to be coming their way if they want to make it to that top four. So yeah, it's going to be a hard and labored road for the side of S8UL, but nonetheless, it is a road that they will be able to travel if the next one. But yeah, coming back to ROG Academy, I just don't know what to say. You know, ROG Academy, it really seems like at this point, it's about which side of the bed they wake up on. You know, if they had a good night's sleep, if they rested well, you can see them hitting some pretty nutty shots, doing some pretty insane things, and against teams of good renown. You know, these guys are not just players who get the occasional victory against teams of similar caliber. No, these guys have the potential to really excel and be the best, but it just seems that somewhere or the other, communication or confidence, something or the other is lacking. And I think it's actually a bit of both. You know, they do. I mean, apart from Sensei, it seems that the players are a little bit lacking in confidence. It doesn't seem like they're very sure about what they're doing, and it shows in the way
Yeah.
they're playing, right? Because they're constantly re-peaking angles, they're constantly trying to dump utility when they shouldn't. They should just be holding the area that they're controlling, and yeah, I think that's quite big if you're ROG Academy. And there's the scoreboard for the first map on Bind.
Yeah, and you can clearly see a massive difference in the number of kills everyone has over here, right? Sensei, the highest fragger on the side of RG Academy, had 11 frags in this game, whereas most of the people on the side of Team S8UL had more than 11. Only God Bexy had 10, but he's just one person, that doesn't count. On the side of Team RG Academy, there were barely 3 people inside the double digits. 2 of them had singles. They did. I mean, they had 7 kills each. Equinox and Ludra. Ludra not having a good day on Bind. He was at like 0 frags for the first 9 or 10 rounds or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I mean, that was rough. You know, just watching Luza struggle so much, just kind of sucked. And he made up for it in the next game. He played pretty well in that one, but still, I mean, when you're in that moment, it has to be heartbreaking for a player like Luthra,
Yeah.
especially, because you're supposed to be the consistent rock of the team. You're the one who's supposed to be surviving towards the end, winning those clutch moments, and bringing some sanity back to the team. This time around, it wasn't you. It was Bullseye and Sensei doing the bulk of the heavy lifting over here. And you can say Sensei individually, he looks quite strong. A combat score of 216, 11 kills to his name. Not bad at all, but in the end, everyone from the side of RG needs to step up. It can't just be a one-man show every single time. You look over to the side of S8UL, look at that, so much more well spread out. Strix is doing well, Binks has got 13 kills, Badman's got 15, Ezzy's got 14. Everyone's lifting their weight and then some. And I just think that's the difference between the two teams. It just seems that the experience that the side of Badman, Ezzy, and God Bexy has brought in has given the team a lot of stability. Whereas because RG are essentially a bunch of newer players who haven't played at the highest competitive level just yet, at least in the country, they are struggling a little bit. So, yeah, this is just, I mean, this just goes on to show that, it's really good to have experienced players on the team. And if they could bring in someone like that, I'm quite sure the performance would shoot up. But for the time being, this is what they have, and this is what they got to work with.
And it's good enough. They're winning these games. They're putting up a decent number of points. But this win, they might just be out of danger as well. So their dreams of the Gauntlet throne, they can keep them all on repeat. They can keep on just reminiscing about them and hopefully lift the trophy also one day. Team S8UL win the matches for the day. They beat ROG Academy quite convincingly on Bind, and then pretty okayishly on Haven, I would say. But then again, ROG Academy, they made several mistakes, and S8UL were just really good at punishing those. So at the end of the day, I would like to say that S8UL had a very good read on their opponents. They figured out how to distract ROG Academy using the utility and sometimes just let one of their players waltz into a side without getting detected and then have him do all the bad work, all the dirty stuff for his team. That's S8UL for you guys. They had a little bit of a switcheroo in their tactics recently. Binks, you saw that he was trying to use a fake lockdown towards the B side, and I only saw him do this once before in the game I casted between S8UL and some team. I don't remember who it was, but it was like 2 weeks ago, so it's been a while since that. Although I must say, Binks on the lockdown, on the Killjoy, I think I'm liking it. So I would want to see more of him in the future. But
I mean,
I get. Go ahead.
this is a character development arc. The first two
Yeah.
seasons, Binks, he's the guy going in, starting the party. Now he's turning into more of the Sentinel kind of guy, more level-headed. Coming in clutch for his team too, may I add? What was that round where he just got 2 headshots without any utility whatsoever? Just single-handedly winning the round
Just-
for his team? Insane.
Yeah, just Valorant at its finest. One of the
Yeah.
best aimers out there.
Absolutely, and it's only going to go up from here. So, best of luck to S8UL for the journey. Best of luck to ROG as well. But I think that's going to be it from our side for now. Well,
Yeah, that's it for this game. We will have one more match for you, ladies and gentlemen, at 8 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that one as well. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so that you know whenever we go live. And before we do bid adieu, I would like to thank you all for watching the LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial. Our apparel partner is 6x6, accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and esports partner is Aimlab. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We have Team Velocity going up against Only Friends later on tonight at 8 p.m. So make sure you don't miss that game.
One, two, three, let's go.